how did you find your purpose? Like, how does a young brother like yourself decide that the books that you wrote were necessary and you needed to get that out to other people?
That's a really good question, Nate. And I think people find their purpose in different ways, right? So for me, this was a purpose born out of pain. Sometimes people get purpose out of a mission. Some people get purpose out of inspiration. Mine's happened to come out of pain. Unfortunately, during the time period I grew up, I had a lot of my friends murdered before I was 21 years old. I had about 9 people that I went to school with, so in my neighborhoods, killed in different ways. Some people were shot, some people were stabbed to death. It was just a really crazy time for me. And I was literally praying to God to like help this make sense. Well, what he did instead was not make it make sense, but gave me a mission. And I knew it was from him because I was the time he gave it to me, I was like 21. And I was asking God, what shall I do? And he was like, children's books. And I was like, is that God? Because that don't, I mean, I'm 21, no kids. Why am I writing
What do I
children's
know
books?
about children's books, right?
Right. Why am I
Right,
writing children's books?
right.
And sometimes that's the way the purpose comes. It comes very confusing. It comes like, I don't, doesn't necessarily make sense. But what really made it click for me is once I did follow it, I started doing the research on Black history. I realized through this research that psychologists have been saying for years that Black kids need to see themselves, but more importantly, know their history.
Mm.
Because that's the one thing that grounds a culture, grounds a race, is knowing what you did in the past. Now I started to understand, okay, this is why God told me to do this, because if kids learn at 5, 6, 7, 8 that they come from all these great scientists and inventors and mathematicians, the desire to then be a thug on a block becomes lesser, right? Because I'm destined to do more because of my heritage. That's where the purpose came from. It's like I need to write these books so I can have a change in these kids. And when I tell you God is never wrong, when I finished writing these books and took them into these areas in Southeast DC, and sometimes in Chicago, and sometimes we went up to New York, we read these books to these kids. The change was amazing. After going through these books about how we create mathematics and how we create the first calendar and how we invented the golf tee and all the different things and the first refrigerator, they would just start going like, wow, I can do this too. And it changed their thought process. So
Right.
my pain ended up being translated into a space to now help other people, which lessened my pain.
Gotcha.
So a
Gotcha.
lot of times your purpose has a dual purpose, right? It's to help other
Right.
people, but also helps you.